Rev up your engines. They only made 360 of these. This is number 88. It's a beautiful car. I call it candy apple red. It really looks like candy apple red. But it's a beautiful color. The black wheel set it off. You can see it's the special one. The TLX SH all-wheel drive. Now, it is a fast luxury sedan. And it is all-wheel drive. But you got like 29 miles driving it on the highway here. You drive conservatively. Not that I drive a car like this conservatively, but if you do, you get really good gas mileage for what it has. We'll go under the hood. I'm really carried away by this color. I mean, it just pops. There's the reason of existence. Even though it has a stupid beauty cover on it, forget the beauty cover. We don't want it. It's in the way. Throw it over there. There, that's what we want to see. These cars have excellent engines. Just to show you the quality of the Japanese. Look at the paint inside. I mean, that's showroom quality. They painted the welds. The whole car is a work of art. Now, being a limited edition, got it for like 50 grand. Today, that would be an absolute steal. If you remember the new S version that I did a few weeks ago, he was lucky to get it at MSRP at $55,000, and he paid $50 for this. He could easily sell it for more money than he paid for it. I tell you that right now. If you don't believe me, we'll go inside. This is number 88 at 360. Black with red leather stitching, lots of room in the back. It has a lot more room in the back than the newer one did. But that paint, I'm telling you, look at it. It blows me away. This is Alcantara seats. This is fake suede, but he likes it. It's more comfortable. It doesn't get the cold of leather, and it actually holds up a lot better too. Sometimes fake is indeed better than real. Leather is the skin of dead animals. You think we could do better over time? Well, they definitely have here. Now, he does have one big worry about this car that's worrying him. Not that the car's gonna break down, that somebody's gonna run into him. Because, you notice he's got Massachusetts tags. And people drive like maniacs in Massachusetts. And one of my viewers that came here last year with his BMW is now driving a Volvo because he was rear-ended in his BMW going from Boston to work in Providence. So you get on these roads here, people drive like maniacs. Just the other day, I was pulling in here. I was doing the speed limit, 35 miles an hour. I was road testing a car, filming it for you guys, right? Turn in. The guy zooms by me, gives me the finger, and beeps at me because I dared to turn into my road going 35 miles an hour on a 35-mile-an-hour road. That's how people drive around here, so it is fearsome. There's no arguing that. And I fear for him because it's a beautiful car, and you'd hate to get it smashed up because some idiot runs into you. It's very low to the ground because it's a handling car. So, you don't want to be driving this thing off-road, even though it is all-wheel drive. They've even blacked out the mufflers. That's pretty cool. It's got a black chrome. The muffler itself is black and it has anodized exhaust. They did a really good job on this. It's a marvel to drive, as you'll find out soon. But since we are in East Coast, you can see the connectors are rusty, and they will. That just happens to exhaust. It gets hot, the steel rusts. Now with these oversized tires, these are Michelin's. They're excellent tires. They handle really well, as we're going to see. And of course, it's a high-tech car. You can see it shows everything. My shed, the sides. We don't care if we go in the grass. We go slow. Went slow over the hump, but it didn't hit. And we're going to see how this thing rides. This is a bumpy Rhode Island road here, the one I always test out. And I'm sitting in the seat, and let me tell you, this rides better than my wife's Lexus. It may be a sporty car, but the suspension system on this thing is really tuned quite well. We go into the road, smooth power, nice sound. You can barely feel the shifts, of course. This entire car is designed and built by Honda. The engine, the transmission, the suspension. They don't get much better than this, really. It's just that many people don't buy sports sedans anymore. They only make 360 of these things. And for those 360 people, I'm sure they're all very content. Just like the owner of this car. So we got a beautiful candy apple car. But unlike many sports cars of the past that are known for falling apart and being endless money pits, odds are this will never turn into an endless money pit. He says probably by the time they say to change the timing belt, 7 years or 100,000 miles, he might have 40,000 miles on it. It may be the last car that he buys, and it certainly is beautiful. Painted right, set up right, rides right, and really, 29 miles a gallon for a fast car that looks like that. That is nothing to sneeze at. It's real. It's not some BS rating. That's when he got driving here from Massachusetts to Rhode Island. You can't argue that kind of gas mileage in a beautiful car like this. I mean, when it gets 59 miles a gallon, it's going to be an ugly, tiny little thing that can't get out of its own way. You want a sports sedan? This is definitely something to think about. Of course, only 360 people could buy them, so it's not going to be easy to find one. And here's some bonus questions and answers. Gas Raider says, can you help me? I have a 2011 Ford Triton V8 Expedition. It struggles to start if it hasn't run for a few days. Turns over and over, but seems not to get fuel for 15 seconds. It fires, and sometimes I think I smell gas when it starts up. Help. This may be the simplest thing on earth to fix. You see, after it sits for a few days. Have a mechanic like myself or any auto parts store that you trust load test your battery. Because if your battery's getting weak, when it sits, it starts losing power. You say it sits for a few days and it cranks a lot. Even though your engine's cranking over, modern cars use a tremendous amount of electricity to start. In the old days, it was no big deal. The battery cranked the engine, you had a little distributor spinning, and then the carburetor was mechanical, pumped the fuel, and it would start up. Well, now, fuel injection system is electronic. The ignition system is totally electronic, all run by computers. If your battery is weak and it sits for a few days, and it's weak as it's going to get if it sits for a few days, it's just sitting there not being recharged every time you drive it, the battery could be weak enough that it starts your car by spinning the engine, but it won't start up for a while. And then, exactly what you say can happen. When it does start, you can smell gas because the engine is flooded out. Fuel injectors only take milliamps, a little bit of voltage and, millions, thousands of an amp of power to fire the fuel injector. So they might be firing fine, but the ignition system uses more power. So you might be getting fuel and not ignition so that it floods the engine out. When it finally does start, you smell fuel. Check the battery. Have it load tested. It could be as simple as the only thing you need is a new battery. Pray it is, because if it isn't, it can be all kinds of stuff. You could need new fuel filter, air filter, could need the fuel injectors cleaned, could be a problem in the fuel pressure, it could be tons of things, but a lot of times that is just a weak battery. That's simple to fix. F. Boo says, I have multiple electrical gremlins in my car. I got a 95 Tacoma 3.4 4x4. Something strange happened. The heater fan stopped working. The shift button, overdrive, doesn't work. And then the car isn't charging, and it starts and runs until the battery goes dead. I can just about guarantee you, your alternator's going out. Everything in modern cars runs with electricity, right? So when your alternator doesn't charge the battery correctly, you start losing particular things. Like, let's say this started the first time. Most people, you're driving your car fine, all of a sudden lights start coming on, stuff starts going, and the car drains electricity. It usually means your alternator isn't charging the battery anymore. Simple test any mechanic, any auto parts store can do, tell you if it's bad or not. Generally, it's just a bad alternator, or alternator and battery. They work in conjunction, so you have to load test them both. If you have a bad battery and replace it, when you're done, you want to then test the alternator, because they work in tandem. Or, consequently, in the reverse order, if you have a bad alternator and you replace it, you still want to load test the battery, because the battery might be bad too. They work together. That should generally be your problem. Now, if it isn't, then you have some kind of a weird electrical short, such as a bad ground. Maybe the ground terminal on the battery is corroded, or where it bolts to the engine, or where it bolts to the frame got corroded and it isn't grounded right. If you get ground fault problems, you get all kinds of wacky problems, because direct electricity, you got positive electricity goes through all the wires. Then the entire body, car and engine, everything, transmission is negative electricity. And that's all done by grounding from the negative terminal of the battery to those parts. And if the grounds don't work right, you'll get the squirreliest electrical problems. I've seen all kinds of crazy. Horns start beeping by themselves, doors lock and unlock, and all it was a ground problem. You just have to find which ground wires are bad, take them off, clean them, make them shiny, and bolt them back on again. Nerdy Dino says, I got an 03 Honda CR-V. I have low miles per gallon. No other symptoms. It seems to run okay. I'm only getting 16.5 in city and 20 highway. I'm supposed to get 23, 28. And I've tried all kinds of things. Help. If it runs, you say no other problems. It's shifting. It runs okay. You're getting poor gas mileage like that. There's two things you can do. First, clean the mass airflow sensor. I have a video. Make your car run better with a little spray cleaner. Scotty, watch that video on YouTube. I'll show you how you can clean it with spray cleaner. That can fix the whole thing. The other thing is, you got 145,000 miles. You could first try some fuel injector cleaner. I like that ATS, Automotive Test Solutions, that Bernie in Albuquerque sells. You can go to their website and buy the stuff. You pour it in a gas tank, and it can really help clean your injectors. Or you can pay a mechanic like me who has one of his fancy machines that costs $5,000. You're not buying the machine. And we hook it up, and it cleans them physically in about an hour by directly connecting it to the engine. It's a very complicated process. Bernie was a genius. They made a great machine. And if you know somebody who has one of Bernie's machines, pay him to clean it. You'll usually find then it'll go back up, because dirty injectors, clean ones are supposed to spray an upside down ice cream cone, a conical spray. When they get older, they get clogged up a little, and they start spraying all over the place. A blob here, a blob there, and if it's not a nice stream, it won't burn efficiently, and you get worse gas mileage. So one of those should certainly fix it. You're saying it runs okay, and so it's generally dirty injectors or a dirty mass airflow sensor or a dirty throttle, all of which can be cleaned. Now, if none of those worked, you might have a real pro like me check the system, and he might just say, well, you need new injectors. They're just worn out. Cleaning didn't fix it, and they're just not working efficiently, and you could replace the injectors. There's only 4 of them. It's not that hard to replace. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.